What are the top 5 fears that retirees have in 2020? We'll tell you today all 5 and the solutions to each.
That's right. So in the October 2020 edition of Kiplinger's Personal Finance, they published a survey. They asked people around the country the following question. Which of the following are you very or somewhat worried about during retirement? Now, Amber, these people, it's kind of like the old Family Feud game, right? They could give more than one response. So we're going to tell you what percentage of the people responded to each question of the top 5, and then we're going to give you the solution.
So coming in at number 5, not having enough money to live comfortably.
So Amber, this is usually a result of poor planning, right? People retired too soon from work. They took Social Security at the wrong time, okay? And they didn't have a plan for rising taxes.
Okay, so what is the solution?
Well, the solution, like we've talked about hundreds of times on this channel, is get your retirement income plan. In the description below, you can watch our masterclass. The masterclass lays out the 3 things that you need to have in your retirement income plan. But it's as simple as that. Amber, last week I met with a husband and wife, and she told me the following story. This woman has 2 sisters. Both of them tired of working and decided to retire. One of them, after she retired, thought maybe it'd be a good idea to put a plan together. So she met with a financial advisor, and guess what he told her? The financial advisor told her she could not afford to be retired and in fact had to go back to work. Now imagine that. She's tasted the sweet life of retirement, right? Now she's got to go back to work because she retired without a plan. Just have a plan. Know when you can retire, when you should claim Social Security. All these things are in your plan.
So the solution is having a plan before you retire.
Before retire, not after. Yeah.
Okay, so coming in at number 4, being too cautious financially and not enjoying retirement.
This is your concern, not having enough money to spend in retirement, right? We've talked about this in other videos as well. The solution is the same as number 5, and that's a plan. And here's why. When you have a plan, it will show you how much you have coming in every single month in retirement and how much you can afford to spend. And we talk a lot about having plans so that you know I can spend $6,000 this month. And if I don't spend all $6,000 this month, it still comes in next month too. So one of the things I like to do with retirement plans, Amber, is really customize them. We've talked about in retirement kind of the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. A proper retirement plan can actually show more money being spent in those early years of retirement during those go-go years and give you the assurance that you have the money coming in to spend it.
So again, having a plan is the solution, and not just a one-size-fits-all plan, but a customizable, individualized plan for retirement.
That's right.
So number 3, what is the 3rd biggest fear in retirement? Well, that is not being able to afford quality health care. So what is the solution for this?
It's not a plan, okay, from finance, but it's actually tax planning, Amber. This is an interesting point. This really applies to people who want to retire before 65, before they can get on Medicare. That's usually what I talk to people and they have this concern. So they want to retire at 62, 63, maybe even 60, and they're worried about getting on healthcare before Medicare. And actually, the best solution is tax planning. And I say that because if you plan taxes accordingly, if you have some tax-free accounts, maybe Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks, even taxable accounts, you may be able to live comfortably in retirement while showing very little taxable income for a few years and receive subsidized, or in some cases even nearly free health insurance from the time you retire until you get to 65. So the solution for that is tax planning. Now, Amber, we know that healthcare is a hot topic, right? And we're sitting here around the election of 2020. It's actually election day today. So this could change, right? Healthcare could be totally different in 2 years, right? We have no idea. But for right now, using smart tax strategies can actually help you get more affordable healthcare. Okay,
so the second biggest fear actually was a surprise to me. I thought this would come in at number 1.
In the past studies, this was number 1. So it's fallen, it's dropped from the top charts, right? It used to be number 1, now it's number 2.
Okay, so coming in at number 2 is running out of money when I'm older. That's the second biggest fear for retirees.
And this, like you said, used to be number one for many years in this study. So what we're talking about here is people get to their 80s, 85, 90s, and they're worried about running out of money. They've spent everything. Let's go back to the story of this woman's sister who retired and then got a plan. At least she found out in her 60s that she had to keep working. Imagine had she gone to her 80s or 85 and found out she's out of money and now try to go back to work, right? That didn't work. So the solution here is guaranteed lifetime income. Our master class talks a lot about that. You need to have guaranteed lifetime income that will pay you regardless of interest rates, regardless of market conditions, regardless of what happens in the stock market, regardless of how old and how long you live. If the account balance reaches zero, it keeps being paid.
So the solution to that fear is guaranteed lifetime income. So again, this is something that we talk about in our masterclass. So if you haven't watched that yet, click on the link in the description. Okay, so coming in at number one.
This is the top concern of 2020 retirees.
The biggest fear that retirees have. Not being able to afford long-term care if I or my spouse needs it.
Now, Amber, this is very interesting because a lot of the people I talk to, this isn't even on their radar. Like, I was surprised to see this, and I'm glad it's being addressed because I bring it up if the client doesn't. And this is a big concern. I mean, when you think about even assisted living, long-term care facilities, this can cost $80,000 or $100,000 a year. Even home health care. My grandma lived to be age 100, right? And they'd bring someone in to give her a bath, and that costs money, right? That costs money. So even home health care is a concern. And so I'm glad people are talking about it.
So we haven't really done any videos on this, and our master class doesn't really talk about it. So what is the solution?
The solution, Amber, is setting money aside specifically for long-term care. Now, what we're finding works best is not long-term care insurance policies for most people, right? Just pay a monthly premium and then pray every night that you don't need it, right? What we suggest is putting money aside in a special tax-free fund specifically devoted for long-term care that's available for either spouse if you need it, and if no one needs it or it goes unused, all of it, it can pass to beneficiaries tax-free. So we will do a future video on that one for sure. But the number one concern, just know that it goes along with the plan, right? Once you know your income needs are met, now you can come and look at some of these things and say, okay, now with some of our extra funds that we might not spend in retirement, let's devote that to long-term care.
So these top 5 fears are not things that most retirees can solve on their own. It requires an income plan, it requires tax planning. These are things that you need to talk to a financial advisor about.
That's right. So again, watch our masterclass, click on the link in the description below, watch our masterclass to kind of get started because you can make the rest of your life the best of your life.
Plan now to retire happy.